prefer the man, the myth, the legend. That's right. We're gonna do
See,
this.
I told him to say it, but it.
Welcome back, everybody. This is another edition of the Liberty Quartet 30th Anniversary Video Podcast. And we are once again joined by my brother Peyton Olive, who is down in Benson, Arizona. He was supposed to be up here, like some of you know. He was supposed to be up here, but schedules didn't work out. And he is now joining us via, I guess, webcam or something like that.
Here.
You're here. That's all that matters. Is it warming up out there at all down in Benson?
You know, it's about the same, but it's drier than Paul's jokes.
Yeah, his jokes are pretty awful. Oh man, we just got off.
Kill me when he hears that.
I know, right? We just got off of a great tour down there. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
and your new fiance came to at least two of them that I remember. Did she come to all three?
I can't remember.
I don't remember neither. It was just
I think she came. I think she came to at least two of them because yeah, she did. Okay. So I in fact, she followed us. I think the farthest she's driven out to see us now is like 4.5 hours.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That's crazy. So we're going through just kind of a recap here for everybody that's listening. We're going through all of the members of Liberty Quartet, not only currently but formerly as well, as many as we can get through. Our first episode we ever did was between me and Peyton, and I think that went really well. Mm-hmm. We just got done doing John. I honestly don't know when all of these are going to get released and in what order, but right now we've got another former tenor with us, and this is Brother Keith Waggoner. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I prefer the man, the myth, the legend. That's right. We're gonna do
See,
this.
I told him to say it, but it.
I know. I want set up. Hey, by the way, I got to ask.
Yeah.
You said something about Peyton's new fiance was able to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Do you have an old fiance? I mean, like, what's going on? I love it.
No, she's the same one I had last time. So
good.
That's great. So for those of you who don't know, we're actually filming this in a little room here at Grace Bible Church in Nampa, and you are the pastor here.
I am,
and which works out great for us, because I texted you one time, or I emailed you, I think.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, we've got this idea for this podcast.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to just borrow a room, and I can bring some video cameras, or I can bring my phone camera or whatever, and we can set this all up. He says, let me hook you up with Brother Ethan. So that's what you did, and here we are. You guys got great stuff, and
that's amazing.
And this has just worked out so well, and I want to thank you for that, for letting us use this.
Oh, it's a privilege. In fact,
we can't pay you at all. But.
Well, actually, that's what I was wondering. Roy says something about you bringing a check. I don't know what that is. He thought it was from you personally, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely not me. That's for sure. So I want to get started with you about. Where did you grow up at?
Okay.
Where did you grow up? Was your musical? Were you kind of a musical, growing up in a musical family, that kind of thing? But let's just start with where you were born, where you grew up. Let's start with
sure. I was born in Indiana. Grew up Indiana. My parents were song evangelists. Now, that's what we did when Dad got home from work. He worked for Caterpillar. Get home, we'd hit the road, sing at revivals, camp meetings, concerts, you name it. So really, some of my earliest memories were singing with my parents, and did that till probably I was 14 or so. Getting to high school. Schedules. I didn't travel as much then.
Yeah.
But yeah, born and raised Indiana. Ended up attending after graduating from high school, Indiana University for a couple of years. And then God led me to God's Bible School and College in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
And graduated from there with a degree in music. My background, the degree, my undergrad was church music, and following that was involved in music ministry. But yeah, my background was just singing the songs of the church. My parents were songwriters. We recorded several albums across the years, but it's just part of my upbringing, and specifically Southern gospel was just a big part of my life. I can still remember 4 years old, I think was the first time I went to a Southern gospel concert in Kokomo, Indiana, at the Nazarene Church there. The Mighty Kingsmen Quartet
Oh, the Mighty
were
Kingsmen.
there. And I mean, this was with, Jim Hamill. You had Squire Parsons.
Oh, wow. This is back in the day.
Mark Trammell was there, but he's playing bass guitar. He didn't even sing that night.
Oh, wow. So this is back in the 70s.
This would have been
Early 80s?
Yeah, it was 1980.
Okay.
And little Ernie Phillips was the tenor,
Yeah.
Ray Dean Reese, Anthony Burke. Like, I remember it all.
Wow.
I remember just vividly that first night. It was my first time to be at a Southern Gospel concert. And as a 4-year-old kid, man, I was captivated by the music.
Yeah.
And early on, I'm like, I'm going to do this someday.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this someday. But yeah, so I had the opportunity to travel, but even though we didn't necessarily do Southern gospel music, we did some covers. That was always part of the soundtrack of my life growing up. That was just a big part of it.
Wow. I didn't know you saw the Kingsmen that.
Oh man,
Wait, you're saying names that are bringing back memories.
Oh, listen, that was the Mighty Kingsmen Quartet, not just the Kingsmen Quartet.
That was the Mighty Kingsmen.
Yeah.
For those of you in the know.
Oh yeah.
What a lineup that was.
Oh, that was one of the best.
Yeah.
So you grew up singing around. Did you just stick around Illinois, or Indiana? I mean, or did you go around?
We tried
other
Indiana,
states
Ohio, Kentucky, Michigan.
Kind of all the Midwest.
Illinois.
Area.
Yeah, most of the. I mean, primarily we were in Indiana, but I mean we traveled all over.
Okay. Did you play any instruments?
Yeah.
I know your mom plays piano.
Yeah, actually, my mom plays anything with keys: accordion, organ, piano, whatever. I played drums.
Okay.
My dad and my brother both play bass guitar. There for a while, we actually did do a Southern gospel group when I was in high school. We added my cousin. He sang bass with us. My brother played bass. I played drums. We had a full band. I didn't even sing. I think they brought me out for a song every once in a while, but I mostly played drums. But yeah, that was my background.
Oh, okay, very cool. I'm a drummer too. So
really?
small world.
Well,
yeah,
there
that's
you
what
go.
I was in when we did our little episode, just me and Peyton.
Yeah.
I was telling him I remember distinctly about 4 years old. I opened up the cabinets to where all the pots and pans were. I drug them out all on the floor, turned them all upside down.
Yep.
Found some, spoons and stuff, and just started banging away.
Same here.
And
Did the exact same thing.
That lasted about 30 seconds, and my mom said, "Okay, that's enough," and put them all back away.
I was about to say, did your parents yell at you too for it?
Yes.
Well, it's funny because it's so funny you say that. Like, I distinctly remember doing the same thing, getting pots and pans, Tupperware containers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Making a full set. So yeah, man, I started early.
Did you ever do it on your bed too, with like pillows and stuff?
I don't know that I did that, but
I
I
did.
definitely did in the kitchen.
Yeah, I remember doing that in elementary school.
Yeah.
I would set up, okay, this pillow's this Tom, this pillow's this Tom, and I'd get my drumsticks out and I'd just start whacking away.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I played that. But I also I played piano for a little bit. I was never good. In fact, in college I minored in piano. I was a vocal major, minored in piano, and my piano teacher in college said, "You're not the worst piano student I've ever had," but she said, "I think you're second to worst." And so here's the crazy thing. I took 9 years of piano, have very little to show for it, but then I played trumpet, but drums was my primary instrument.
Okay. Very cool.
Where did you go to school? Where did you go to college?
So after I went to Indiana University for a couple of years, God's Bible School and College in Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he did say that. You just weren't paying attention.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good. You're thinking about your old fiance.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of
Don't say that.
significant,
The new one's close by.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Speaking of significant others, did you meet your wife in college, or did you meet?
No.
Where did you meet her?
No, so this is a crazy story. I was when I met my wife, I was actually engaged to someone else.
Oh wow.
So I started dating a girl when in high school. A great girl. We dated. We're engaged. Well, no, I take that back. I think we were just dating. We later got engaged, but I was dating another girl when I met Lori. The girl that I was dating at the time, it would be her cousin, was Lori's roommate
Oh.
in college, and Lori was traveling with a college orchestra, and they had come into town the night before the concert at our church, came over for a game night, and that was the first time I met her. And honestly, I didn't like her at all. We were playing games, and we got into a major disagreement, argument
wow.
over a game. We both remember that. She still says she is right and I'm wrong, and I don't buy it. But that's what I tell people. It wasn't love at first sight, but it was love at first fight. Maybe that was it. But so I met her then. It would have been probably 2 years later. I transferred to God's Bible School in college, and it was so interesting. I pull up on campus, and where we had parked just happened to be outside the music studio where a lot of the music classes were. And I mean, as we pulled up, I don't know hardly anybody at this place.
Yeah.
And Lori walks out of the door right after I had pulled up, and I'm like, hey, I remember her. I actually know somebody here. And just over the years, we just became really good friends, hung out together. She had actually graduated a little bit before me. In fact, little known fact, my senior year, one of the classes that we had to take is called Instrumental Methods. And for those of you that have been music majors, you know, it's just like an overview where you have to learn how to play every single band instrument, because you're going to be teaching it. And so you have to be able to play a scale, play a simple song, that sort of thing. Well, she actually taught woodwinds. She's a phenomenal a flutist, plays flute, oboe. And so she taught the woodwind section, and that was my senior year of college. And so it wasn't just that we were dating, like, that was weird because she was actually giving me a grade, and at that point, I was neck and neck to be valedictorian of my class.
Oh wow!
And she felt like, to be quote unquote fair, she needed to grade me harder than everybody else. I'm like, what are we doing here? I mean, come on. So, but yeah, we just became really good friends. We were both into music, had a lot of common friends. We both toured a lot. I toured a lot in college. I toured with an orchestra, a choir. I toured with a college quartet. Lori, she's a phenomenal conductor. She was an associate conductor for an orchestra. So it was weird. We would sometimes tour together, but we were a lot of times just away from each other. She's on a tour, I'm on a tour. But yeah, man, we my senior year of graduating with a music degree, I graduated, and a month later we got married.
Oh wow!
And so that was in 1999. So getting ready to celebrate 27 years of marriage. Hard to believe.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so good.
And then what year did you join Liberty?
So I joined Liberty, I think this through, that was in 2006. I signed my contract, everything, in January of 2006. And in February, I think it was in February of 2006, they had their 10th anniversary concert. And that was my very first concert.
Oh wow!
Was that?
Oh wow!
We brought in a lot of the old guys, very similar to what we're going to be doing this year with the 30th.
Yeah,
and that was my very first concert. So yeah, it's hard to believe, man. It's been 20 years ago.
Wow! So was Liberty what brought you out to Idaho?
No.
What brought you out to Idaho?
No, it's funny. Liberty had a part in that, even though I didn't know anything about it. I remember I was back in Cincinnati, and in addition, after I graduated, I was worship pastor at a church, but I also worked for the college I graduated with. I was director of enrollment for a while, and then I was also director of communications. Well, another thing I was part of was I was a music director for an incredible youth organization called Youth Challenge. They'd have big conferences and that sort of thing. And as a music director, I had an orchestra choir that I was responsible for, worship team. But then for my worship band, I would fly in different musicians from different places.
Yeah.
Well, Doran Ritchie and I go all the way back to when I was traveling in a quartet. He was traveling at a sister college in a quartet. We became really good friends.
Wow.
And so I'd fly him out to be my keyboardist for these big conferences, and he'd hang out with me, stay at my house. And so I remember one year he came back, I flew back, and he said, "Hey," he said, "I want you to check out." Well, it wasn't even a DVD at that point; it was a VHS, and it was Liberty. I said, "What was it? The Miracle Continues" or something like that?
Miracle Continues. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Jason and John and those guys.
That was recorded right down here.
Yeah, College Church here in Nampa.
Yeah.
Well, he puts it on, and I was like, "Man, those guys are pretty good."
Yeah.
I was very impressed with their sound. And he said, "Well, man," he said, "this is crazy." He said, "They've asked me to fill in for them, fill in with them for a while, just playing some keys."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dude, well, that's like a really cool opportunity."
Yeah.
Well, long story short, it moved from filling in every once in a while to when John left, he stepped in. Well, he happened to be the worship pastor here at Grace.
Oh, okay.
And so I get a call in, this would be in, early 2004. And he had recommended me for the worship pastor position here at the church. And so I came when he joined Liberty. I moved out here in June of 04 to take his place.
Oh, okay.
And when I left the church a year and a half later to join Liberty, they're like, "Okay, what's up with our worship pastors all going to Liberty?" In fact, the board decided they were going to hire a bass singer because they're pretty sure Royce wouldn't hire away a bass singer. So, yeah, that's how I ended up. So I ended up here just as a worship pastor at the church, but Liberty had a little part in me getting out here, even though I didn't really know much about them at the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We just got done talking to John Cotner, and he had a very similar story.
Mm-hmm.
Like he came out here with, and when he joined the church out here after he got out of the military,
Yeah.
Royce was his choir director.
Yeah.
So that's how he got in with it, and then that's that's pretty
Oh,
such a small world.
It really is, and that's what I love about Liberty's ministry. It's not just that Liberty has directly impacted so many people across the years.
Yeah.
Literally, indirectly, their ministry, I think, has rippled far beyond what any of us know, and I think only eternity will reveal.
Yeah.
But God knew what he was doing, knew how he was going to use all of this, how I was going to be part of that. And so it's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we never got to meet Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton and I never got to meet Ralph. All the other
Great
guys
guy.
did. Do you have any memories of Ralph? Because he was a tenor up until 2002.
Yes.
And then Paul took over, or Jason took over. Jason took over, then Paul, then you.
Mm-hmm.
But did you ever get to
Oh
hang
yeah,
out
Ralph.
with Ralph?
Oh yeah, Ralph and I. Ralph was such an encourager. There's so many funny stories about. I never traveled with him, but I've heard all the stories. He was hilarious.
Yeah.
He had all this nervous energy.
Yeah.
But Ralph was my biggest champion when I joined Liberty. In fact, I still remember my very first night with Liberty. I'm a guy that, I like things to be right. I'm very detail oriented.
Yeah.
And so, I showed up. I'm a guy, I'm gonna polish my shoes. Things are gonna look good. And I remember walking in, and the first thing I hadn't met Ralph till this night, the night of the 10th anniversary concert. And he looked down at my shoes and he said, "Keith," he said, "I can tell that you're going to be a good person for this job." And I said, "Okay, well, I appreciate that." I said, "Why?" He said, "The fact that you polish your shoes tells me that you care about what other people see." And he said, "A lot of times," he said, "there's a lot of people don't care what people see." He said, "This ministry is more than just singing." He said, "There's a lot more that goes into that." And that was Ralph's take on things. He cared deeply, even after he left, about the ministry of Liberty. He wanted things to be done with excellence. And in his personal life, his business life, his career, that marked what Ralph did. He did everything with excellence. And so he and I hit it off immediately. That was a big deal for me. he was such an encouragement. But then he was so quirky and so funny. I love just sitting down with him because he always said something that you wouldn't expect somebody to say. Like he did not have a filter. If it came to his mind, he said it. Whatever he felt, he told you about. And
there was no barrier.
Listen, Ralph, man, he's a legend.
That's awesome.
So when I talk to a lot of Liberty fans nowadays, even my fiance, she grew up listening to Liberty when it was you, Dan, and Dorn and Royce.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably one of the more popular groups we've ever had.
Yeah.
And just the energy on stage and the camaraderie. I look at old videos back in the day, I'm like, they look like they were having a great time. I want you to kind of go in. How is your relationships on stage and off stage with Dan and Dorn? Like, because y'all seem to have so much fun on stage, and if you can just expand on that just a little bit.
I would almost call it a brotherhood.
Oh,
you guys are like brothers.
It was. In fact, to this day, we're like brothers.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know when this is going to be aired, but I mean, just this past Sunday, Dan and Donna Gilbert were at church, and they come here, and when we see each other, we just pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
And so when I came into Liberty, it was nice already knowing Doran. So that helped. We already had history. And so it wasn't like I didn't know anyone. And so I think the other guys accepted me. And, Peyton, you're right. What you see is true. We had a blast. Now, listen, you know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
When you travel, like there are days we get on each other's nerves. Like somebody's gonna say something stupid, somebody gets sick, or those things happen. Okay, but you can't fake. I don't think you can truly fake what we had as a group, and I would even say later when Jordan Cragen joined us, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a brotherhood. We enjoyed traveling together. In fact, the thing I loved is that we didn't just want to be together on stage. Like we hung out all the time. Even when we were home, we were hanging out at each other's houses. We're showing up, eating together. Our wives are getting together.
Yeah.
And that was such a huge thing. And then I think like everybody has something they bring to the group. That's why we've always talked about you never replace a member.
Right.
There's just somebody new with their own gifts and talents comes in. Will, when you stepped in, you were just what Liberty needed for that season. You're totally different from Doug, totally different from Jordan before him, but you're exactly what Liberty needed. You bring your own brand to this. Same thing with Peyton. Peyton, you just what you've brought to Liberty is incredible. For me, what I brought, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not the greatest singer in the world. I enjoy. I love helping arrange music. I love conducting and all that when it comes to music. Singing, I enjoy, but that's not my strength. I'm not like some crazy vocalist. What I do, I love the music. I love the message, and two things I have. First of all, I'm a communicator. I know I'm a communicator. That's one thing I bring, and then number two. I'm just energetic. I bring fun. That's just my personality. And so my thing is, whether it's singing, preaching, whatever I'm involved in, man, authenticity is so important to me. What you see on the stage should be what you see off the stage.
Yeah.
Who you are in this venue is who you are at home or Costco or anywhere else. And so what you saw us having fun, that we laughed just as hard off stage as we did on stage. In fact, probably even harder. But like Dan, I'm telling you, man, Dan, I have so many crazy stories about that guy, but Dan was a powerhouse vocalist.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, could just power.
He is one of
for
the
days.
loudest singers I've ever heard, man.
There were times, in fact, if you'll notice in videos, the traditional order that you stand in is bass, baritone, lead, tenor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stand by him because he would deafen me. I literally would stand clear on the other side of Royce because I could not hear. He was so loud. But I'm gonna tell you, man, Dan is the truest, bluest friend that you'll ever have. He's one of those guys. What you see is what you get. I had so much fun with him. He and I together always had fun because we knew we at the time. You got Royce and Dorn. They have their back and forth. They're
Yep.
funny. It's
Yep.
And
they still do that too.
Yeah, Jerry Lee and Dean Martin.
Yep.
Me and Dan, our responsibility is to laugh at all the jokes and all that, and we did it with aplomb. Like we knew how to do it.
I was gonna say Dan can laugh at anything.
Oh yeah. Well, it was always great because you could tell when it was a new joke. In fact, Royce intentionally would not tell Dan that he was bringing out a new joke because when he would tell a new joke, Dan would almost fall over laughing. Like the first time he heard a joke, he would lose it. Now about the 17th time he heard the joke, he's like,
Yeah,
he
he's
was
over
done.
it. Yeah.
But no, we had a great time, and I think even I'm a people person, and so probably I think even all the awesome man, you're there in Benson. I have so many friends, people I love there in Benson, and I just think I'll just use that as an example. Like they were like family to me. Like I loved people. I loved giving kids high fives after the concert. It was just there's something real about it, and it was that's a special. When I look back over that, man, this is a special time of my life.
Do you think that's part of how you got into being a pastor? Is your communication and your love for people? And
I'm sure that's it. I remember distinctly, and this and what I'm gonna share is this is just for me. I knew that I wasn't gonna be singing forever. I knew that when I joined.
Yeah.
I knew that God had called me. This was a season in my life, and but I even though I didn't have clarity on what was coming after, I just had a feeling something was gonna happen. I remember being in Myrtle Creek, Oregon. We were at, I can't remember if it was a Baptist church, Nazarene church, something like that, and we'd set up, done sound check, and Doran and I are sitting in the sanctuary. The other guys have gone out to the bus. And I remember turning to Doran and I said, "Do you ever wonder how long you're going to be doing this?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, traveling with Liberty. Because I said, I love this.
Yeah.
I said, personally, it wouldn't bother me if I did this all my life. I said, but I just get the feeling that I'm not always going to do this. I said, I'm enjoying every moment that I have. But I said, do you ever wonder why God called us to be part of Liberty? And I couldn't have answered that. It was probably when we had that conversation. It's probably 07 or 08, something like that. I couldn't have answered it then, but I look back now, and what God was doing for me personally during my season with Liberty was I really do think he was laying the foundation for what I was going to do in ministry.
Yeah.
Because not only, I mean, we all have unique gifts and talents and all that. I did find out while I was with Liberty that I could communicate well. I learned how to interact with people. I learned, hey, let's just be honest. A lot of the people that we sing to are older than we are.
Right.
And so I learned a few things. First of all, I learned a great appreciation for generations that were ahead of me. I learned from them. I learned to respect them. I'd listen to their stories, their passions, even their regrets. And I think I gained just as much from the people who showed up at our concerts as maybe they gained from coming to a concert. And so I learned to work with people. God allowed me to see that as we traveled to so many different churches, different denominations, that God is not confined by the name on a church sign or the label of a denomination. God is moving where God wants to move. He's moving wherever his people are.
Yeah.
I found out that not only is God moving in so many different churches, there are problems in all kind of different churches.
Oh yeah.
And I look at it now, and I think what God was doing was he was putting me through pastoral boot camp with Liberty. He was preparing me to be a pastor, and I didn't realize it. But I think that question that I asked Doran in Myrtle Creek, Oregon, looking back, I can now see that God was using Liberty as part of what I'm able to see now. And so I've told Royce across the years. So in fact, I was just with Royce last night.
Yeah.
I often tell him, what we're seeing happen here at Grace Bible Church, the incredible stories of transformation, stories of grace, lives being changed. Man, we've planted 5 churches, helped plant another 8, like total of 23 churches we've helped
Oh, wow.
launch.
That's awesome.
5 just from our church.
Yeah.
And then just sent people on to ministry. I said, man, what we're seeing here, this is the cool thing. Liberty is such a huge part of this here at Grace. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Liberty Quartet has indirectly impacted more people than we'll ever know.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is there are people who've been impacted indirectly through Liberty. They might not ever hear Liberty's ministry, but God allowed Liberty to be part of, whether that's through what you do outside of the group, Peyton, what you do outside of the group, what I do. It's just part of who we are, and God has given us opportunities through this incredible ministry to now take that and use that in other contexts.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've always loved about Liberty. When I first started back in 2020, in fact, you hired me.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
on the board.
I got the phone call from you.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first joined Liberty, it's like, man, these guys are the real deal. You know, they know what they're talking about. They're out here to minister to people, not just to sing.
Yes.
And to put on a show, but to minister. That's what our job is.
It is. And if I could say something to that, I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to be careful, because let's just assume for anybody that's watching this that every group is like Liberty.
Right.
But I don't get to travel with every group. I don't know every group. I just know Liberty. But here's what I loved about Liberty. And this goes back, Peyton, even to what you said about us having fun. It seems like we're really close and all that. That authenticity that you're talking about, Will, that's so important to me, because I don't like fake.
Yeah,
I don't like it, like where we're mad at each other and then we got to get up and act like we like each other. I've never been into that at all. I'm just all about real.
And if you've been in this industry long enough, you can see it right away.
That's for better, for worse.
For better or worse. Yep.
And man, this is where I want to hand out flowers to Royce, Doran, and Dan, even Jordan. I'll bring him in because he came the last little bit that I traveled. Those guys are the real deal.
Oh yeah.
And what you said, man, that was, I'm with you. That's what struck me. I would never have traveled with a group that wasn't the real deal. I don't have time for that, man. I got enough struggles myself without being brought down by guys that just fake this whole thing, living for Christ or singing about God, but live totally anti. I have such great appreciation for those guys and the impact that Liberty had, not just on my skill set, becoming a communicator, all those sort of things, but literally the impact that they had on who I am today as a man of God. Mm-hmm. Dude, I could never repay those guys for their investment, and so I just want to. Sometimes we wait till somebody dies to say these words.
Right,
man. Royce, Dan, Doran, George, the guys I travel with, they need to know, man. They made an impact even on me, and I hope that I was able to do the same thing for them.
That's awesome. Hello, everyone. Just wanted to take a few moments of your time out of this podcast and tell you about our 30th anniversary celebration coming up in September 18th through the 20th there in Meridian, Idaho. We want you to come join us for 3 days of fellowship, memories, and music in celebration of Liberty Quartet's 30 years of ministry. We have invited all the former members of Liberty to come join us, and it's sure to be a fun time. On Friday the 18th, we will have a welcome banquet, and it's going to have special thanks and awards, and that's going to start at 6 p.m. On Saturday the 19th, we're going to have a brunch in the morning, and we're going to have an outdoor barbecue in the pavilion in the evening, so we want you to join us for that. Seating for both of those events on Friday and Saturday are going to be limited, so you want to sign up early if you want to be there. Finally, the big concert will be Sunday evening at 6 o'clock, and we invite you all to join us. Doors open at 5. Everything's going to be held at Valley Shepherd Church of the Nazarene there in Meridian. For more information and signups, you can go to our website. It's www.libertyquartet.com/events, and you want to scroll down to the 30th anniversary picture. Just click on it and it'll tell you everything you need to know. We also invite you to sign up for our weekly email newsletter and to follow us on all social media: Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Our tour schedule is also on our website. Go to libertyquartet.com/tour, or you can get the Bands in Town app on your smart device and follow us that way. All right, folks. Thanks for joining me. Now let's get back to the podcast.
I want to focus on, I talked about this with our talk with John. I mentioned that Royce is probably the greatest coach that I've ever had. And so he has sown so many things into me. And one thing that always sticks out to me from a spiritual aspect is every single time we have devotions or something, he talks about something in our, concerts, services, whatever you want to call them, that we need to be in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that is something that has stuck with me, that in everything I do, it needs to be in Christ.
Yeah.
And that is something that he has sown into my heart and that I use just in everyday life. So I wanted to ask you, is there something that Royce Mitchell, or that anybody in Liberty in general, has sown into your heart that you still use to this day, whether it be pastoral aspect or just out on the streets, anything?
Yeah, that's a good question, Peyton. Outside of some of the stupid jokes I still tell that I learned from Royce. No, I have said this often, even in messages. I've referenced Royce. Probably a word that you'll hear used time and time again to describe Royce is the fact that he's a man of faith.
Mm.
And I learned a lot by watching him, because I would actually say there's three things that mark Royce: faith. I've watched him when I'm looking at the reality of some things we were facing at different times, along the journey that I was with Liberty. Some tough situations we had to work through, some financial crises that came up that were unexpected.
Yeah.
And we didn't have funds, or we didn't have the wisdom, or all that sort of thing. And I have watched Royce, call prayer meetings, or himself just show us what it looks like by getting on his knees himself. And his dependence, his radical dependence on God, was the seed, I think, that brought forth fruit of miracles, where we would see God show up. And I'm telling you, I don't think we would have seen God show up at times if it wasn't for his faithfulness, the faith that he had, his radical dependence. He would always say, hey, listen, this ministry's God's. If God doesn't show up, then God knows what's best, because this is his ministry. It's not our ministry, it's his.
Right.
And if it's his ministry, he's going to provide for his ministry. And I saw it happen time and time again.
Yeah.
So, faith was a huge part. The second thing, Royce is one of the most generous guys you'll ever meet. To this day.
Almost to a fault.
The guy, to this day, will not ever let me buy him lunch. The only way I can do it is if I give my card to the waiter when he's not paying attention, and he'll almost get mad at me if I do that. He
still does that.
Yes, he's one of the most generous people, and I have such great appreciation. Behind the scenes, people would not know what he's done, not just for me. I'll guarantee you guys have your own stories.
Oh, yeah.
Every Quartet member has a story of how behind the scenes, Royce and Tammy, because I got to throw Tammy in there with him, they have together, took care of the guys that traveled. If there was something weird that was going on, they were there. They would help with needs. I have such appreciation. And then the third thing would be sacrificial. He's sacrificial. He showed me what it means to be a great leader, because a great leader isn't someone who just gets all the applause when things go well. They're also the one that carries the weight. They're the ones that take the blame if something doesn't go as well.
Yep. They have to play firefighter.
They have to play firefighter.
Yep.
But here's the thing, though. Everybody wants to be a leader when things are going well, but when it takes sacrifice, that's when people kind of run. Royce has never run from
Yeah.
leadership. He has embraced the hard times, and he and Tammy together are a phenomenal. I call them a power couple, and their faithfulness, their generosity, and the sacrificial nature that marks them. I'll never forget it. And honestly, it's been such a great investment for me. I try to lead the same way, but they've been a great example.
What a
Yeah.
great question that was.
That was a good one.
Well done. You could be a professional at this.
Nailed it like
Do I
Larry
get a
King over
cookie?
here.
So you left Liberty in 2012?
2011.
2011.
Yep.
And you came to be a pastor out here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't have a whole lot of time left, but how did that come about? Did they call you, or did they know of you, or?
Yeah, well, so to go back, I was here on
Yeah.
staff before.
Okay.
Doran had recommended. I was here a year and a half, joined Liberty. Well, I had I won't get into it, it's a long story, but but I'd had God moments that had been kind of, now looking back, God was preparing for me to be here as pastor.
Okay.
But specifically in February of 2011, I remember distinctly, we're in Mesa, Arizona, staying at a Hampton Inn. I come out to the bus early to have my devotions, and man, it's as clear as a bell. I can't remember. I was reading through Psalms. I can't remember what chapter it was, but it was clear as a bell. Man, I just felt in my spirit, I didn't hear an audible voice, but it might as well has been, it was that clear.
Yeah.
God said, there's a new season of ministry coming. I mean, it was so clear that I told Royce, I'm like, hey, I don't know what this means, but this is kind of weird. I feel like God's telling me something new's coming. I don't know if that means with Liberty outside of this, but I just feel like there's a new season, whatever that means. And so I didn't tell anybody else outside of Royce and Lori. And so for the next 4 months, we were praying about this, and it was really weird. From May 1st to June 1st, out of the blue, I got 4 different churches that had reached out about joining their team. 3 of the churches as an associate pastor. You know, for some it was a worship pastor, others was like a campus pastor, associate pastor, and then Grace as a lead pastor. It's kind of funny. We were in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was walking into a hotel. We'd got there, checked in, and I'm walking up to my room, and I get a phone call from the pastor here at Grace. He was a good friend of mine. He said, I just wanted to let you know that I'm stepping down as pastor. And he said, I'm going to be telling the board tonight. And he said, I want to give you a heads up because I'm also going to recommend that they hire you as their pastor. And I'm like, that's a terrible idea. and you know what he said next? He gave me a lot of confidence. He said, well, they really don't have any other options. And I'm like, great. So that's who I am. You don't have any options? Call Keith.
Gee, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, like, thanks a lot. But that would have been in the end of May, or maybe I can't remember when. It was sometime in May. Well, from that time forward till probably the middle of June, the church started talking to me seriously. Long story short, I ended up coming here it was actually my last concert was at it was a Good Shepherd Wesleyan Church in Carson City, Nevada.
Oh wow!
And we drove all night, got home. I think we pulled in around 8 a.m. That was August 1st. I get off. They literally dropped me off at my house because I had to go in, change clothes. I started off being a pastor with a funeral that morning. Literally, my very first day, August 1st of 2011, was I got off the bus, took a shower, ran over to the church, had a funeral. And I've been running ever since.
Man, talk about being thrown to the wolves right away.
Crazy, man. Yeah.
That's
it's hard to believe, man. It's almost 15 years now.
Wow.
Since
and this church has just grown and grown and grown.
It's crazy.
You guys are in talks of building a new building.
Yeah, we bought land. The nice thing is the land's paid for.
Oh, awesome.
We got like 25 acres. We've got to build right now. We just cannot fit everybody in here. So we're running 6 services total.
I was just about to ask you 6, yeah.
And this, for those of you that remember when I traveled with Liberty, I did not have white hair in my beard. I've got a lot of white now, and there's a reason why. So yeah, we're hoping to launch our campaign, raising funds for this. It comes back to Royce. I feel the same way Royce felt about Liberty.
Yeah.
Man, what I got to be part of, it's God's work. God's
Yeah.
ministry. God funds his ministry. It's on
Yeah,
him. And
absolutely.
so I'm just looking forward to what he's
Just
going to
put
do.
it in his hands and he'll take care of it.
That's
Absolutely.
It. That's it.
Well, man, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you got
Yeah.
a lot of work to do, but thank you so much for coming by.
Absolutely.
This was a lot of fun.
Oh man,
I
I'll
love
tell
yeah.
you, this is great. And I know we're going to be having the big thing in September,
Yeah.
getting all the guys back together, and I'm
Yeah.
looking forward because, this interview, I love the direction this interview took. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah,
here,
we
but
didn't either.
This is awesome. I like it. It glorifies God and hands out some roses to the other guys.
Yeah.
But there are so many funny stories that
Oh, man.
that we have. I'm looking forward to sharing. There are stories that need to be told. I'm just saying, it's time for them to come. I'm bringing
back
it
the
out.
curtain, yeah.
Listen, we might as well celebrate 30 years by telling you the funny stuff. So let's do it. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's do it. Big
Yeah.
old round table. Let's
You
put
know
everybody
it.
around the table.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Let's
That'd be
do it.
awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out and joining us and watching once again with our good friend, Brother Keith Waggoner here. And thank you so much, Peyton, for helping us out and joining us again. I don't even know who's up next. I haven't even looked at the schedule, but join us for the next episode. I hope you will. We're really hoping this thing gets off the ground. If you want to come join us for the 30th in September, that's going to be September 18th through the 20th. All that information can be found on our website. It's going to be a fun time. I cannot wait, man. It's going to be so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, all right. Thank you guys so much for coming. We'll talk to you next time.